morning. Welcome to the AutoCAD 2023 and AutoCAD LT 2023 What is New webinar. My name's Glenn. I'm a technical consultant at Bin0A2K, and I'll be taking you through this morning. Now, for those of you that don't know, Bin0, I'll just take you through this. We foster innovation through delivering software and hardware solutions. We also offer consulting, training. We do a lot of development with clients and managed services. I suppose over the years, we've become a trusted technology advisor to our customers through the breadth and depth of our service offerings and our technical expertise. Many of you would have known us through A2K. We're now Bin0A2K. So looking forward to the future, things you should consider when you're talking about us. We are global. We've got over 550 employees across 32 offices, covering 25 languages. I'm afraid I only cover one of those. So we provide data management and integrated solutions. We do BIM implementation, consulting services, CAD management services, on-site and online training, and customized content creation. So out of all these services we offer, you're going to sort of get our online training side of things today with the webinar. So what are we going to be covering today? I'll just explain. You'll see the two icons down in the bottom right corner. You've got the AutoCAD one and the LT one. So when we get into specific items, if both of those are there, they're applicable to both. If just the CAD one is there, it only applies to AutoCAD, and if only the LT one's there, it's only an LT. So we're going to be looking at both of the products. I'll be doing all of my examples in AutoCAD 2023. We'll be looking at the Macro Advisor. We're looking at the new capabilities of floating drawing windows. We'll look at drawing layout tabs. The count command has got a few enhancements to it, as well as the trace command. We've got enhancements to the grips on our polylines, MLEADERs. We've got a new CUTBASE command that we'll also be looking at. We've also got some very nice markup import and markup assist capability inside AutoCAD now. Sheet set managers available for AutoDesk docs for those of you that use it. We'll be looking at enhancements to do 2D, 3D display, and things like they've just done some small enhancements to insert block, the options dialog box, isolation mode, when you're starting new drawings, custom error reporting, and arc text has been added to AutoCAD LT. So there's a few things to get through. There's no sort of major enhancements, but there's a lot of nice ones in here. So the first one we're going to look at is this My Insights command macros, which is only applicable to AutoCAD, not LT. Now, what's happening there now is if you are using AutoCAD and you do a number of commands repetitively, in your status bar, this little icon will pop up and it says, hey, I'll create a new menu macro for you. And you can go and have a look at the insights. And if you like it, you can put it into the saved. And from there, you can start putting them into things like your, just jump in here. You can put it into things like your ribbon. So if I was to go and have a look at command macros. So here you go. This is where it will sort of throw up new ones depending on what you're doing. And it shows you the macro, which means you can try them out and we can save them. Okay, so I might say, look, I'm going to save that one. Excuse me. And it saves it to the macro area eventually. And from there, you can leave it here if you want and use this as just like a little toolbar to run it from. You can come into the command macro editor And you can start doing changes to the macro if you want to perfect it yourself and do a few little extra things to it. We can also edit in the CUI, and we can add it to the ribbon. Okay, so it puts it under automation. So here's your command macros, and now it's added this zoom, save, close capability. So if you were doing multiple fillets a lot, it might decide that, hey, you're doing those a lot, and it'll throw it up here as a macro and give you the option to save it and put it up onto your ribbon menu. So that's one that's in there. They've done some nice things with floating drawing windows. So what's happening now is the command line will go into whatever's the active or top floating drawing window. I, in playing with this, found out a few interesting things that you've got to be careful of. You want it what they call anchored to the bottom, so that if I tear off any drawings, so you can see the command line is in that one. Now, if I tear off that one, let's just go and open drawing 3. So you can see whichever drawing is active, the command line flicks to it. It used to just stay at the bottom here, but I've just replaced those back in there. The thing that I found when I was playing around with this, if you did anything like move this, it doesn't always work and won't go with the active one. And if you dock it to the bottom and reshape it like that, it doesn't seem to like that either. Okay, so the one it wants is where you're using it anchored, not there, anchored down to the bottom. Then when you tear drawings off, it moves with it. Okay, just do this one. So if I tear that off, notice the command line stays down the bottom. So that's what I was talking about. It wasn't really that clear that that was what they meant when they said anchored, but that's what they mean. So it's got to be like that for it to move around to the active drawing all the time. Excuse me. Now, if I just go and open a whole bunch of drawings, I don't know how often you end up with a lot of drawings. There's not been a lot of major enhancements here. I'm just going to show you the one that they've given us, which is quite useful. If you've got multiple drawings open, just like in 2022, you can see which is the active one, but they've changed the little menu down here for you to sort of see overflows. And if you do have overflows, you can come down to them easily. The active drawing is now highlighted with a tick, whereas it used to be the same color with just an asterisk. So no real major enhancements there, just a few little tweaks if you wish. Now, just like in 2022, if I came back to that drawing, so if I do a zoom, I've effectively done a change to that drawing. You can see it comes up with an asterisk. So all of these don't have asterisks in them. So if I was to come through and sort of say, look, I want to do a close all drawings, it will close all of them happily until it gets to drawing 2 that has, there you go, that it saw had a change, and it's up to you whether you save it or not. Okay, so that's your sort of drawing layout tabs. Come back in here. We've also got the count command. I don't know if any of you use those, but the count command, what happened there, it used to count everything in the drawing. Now we can do specified areas. So if I was to come back to my drawing, just going to grab my count drawing. So before, if I went into count, it was basically doing the whole drawing. Now we can do areas. So I could come to and say, look, I want to just count what is in there. Okay. So it lists all the blocks that it's just found in that area. I can come along and create a table. Now I can select which ones I want. I can also pick on them before I decide. It's like, yes, I want to count those. Yes, I want to count those. Desks, yes, I'll count those. That's looks like the side tables. That's the phones. That's the mats, keyboards, rectangles, no. Room numbers, no. So I'm just going to count those ones and put them into a table. Of course, yeah, I'm going to have to scale that table up. Let's just, there we go. And here is all your block counting. Okay, so the great thing is you are now able to do them to any areas that you want, which is going to make it a more valuable tool in my book anyway. Trace command. So what happened previously with the trace command, it was sort of more we could bring it in and look at it. We couldn't do a lot with it, whereas now we can create traces, and this is for AutoCAD and AutoCAD LT. So if I just close this one off and we go and have a look at tracing, yeah. Now we've already had a bit of a play around with that. So if I can have a look at collaborate and bring up my traces palette, I can see me and Jatin have been playing around with this. Jatin did a few here. So if I zoom in, I see he's put notes in there. It's got a note in here. I've actually got a few in here. So this is, you know, can you please check these? Can you turn those around? So you can do this within a drawing. Now, if I was to come along, I can now come along and say, look, I just want to have a look at what Jatin's done there. Check door dimensions, and I might come in here and do some changes to it. Let's say I put some annotation in here. Change if required. Okay, so this was all Jatin's. I've zoomed in. I now save it and it's updated. And you can see that I've got it here, but we can go back through and see that Jatin created it. He's contributed to do it. I've done the latest one, and it will zoom in because I was zoomed in. If you look there, when Jatin saved it, he would have been saved out. He would have been zoomed out. Whereas I was zoomed in when I saved it, zoomed in when I saved it. So you've got all this extra information that can sit inside the drawings. So you can switch those on and off as you want. You can come in and you can switch this palette on and off as you require, and then just go and have a look at different aspects of it. Have you done this and all that sort of stuff. So it's putting some neat tools in here, not necessarily for drawing drawings faster, but doing a lot of management stuff that you want to come through and mark up drawings and things like that. Any of these you can come through. I can delete them. I can remove my contribution from it. So I've removed my contribution. It's returned back to being just Jatin's contribution on it. Or I could come along and say, look, what we're going to do is delete this completely. So that's gone. All right, let's close that one. So you see, a lot of you must be sitting going, I'm not sure this is going to be giving me many drawing enhancements. There are a few in there, but this is expanding the capability of your CAD products to do other things. That was the trace command. Yep, very simple one. On the polyline grip extend, a lot of you might not even realize it either, was if I did a polyline and I gripped it, on previous releases, if I went to the beginning, I couldn't do things like stretch the vertex, whereas now I can. And I can come to the end and stretch a vertex. Whereas in 2022, you could only do it where you finish. So if that was the start point, that could not be stretched, but the end one could. So subtle things being added in there. But again, small tool could be useful. Another one they've got in there as well is I could come along, I could put a bit of text in here. Okay. Park. Something if I maybe what I'd do is I'll boost this up to, let's use some annotative. Let's just make sure all of these are using an annotative one. Okay, let's get rid of that. And I'll just say, okay, outline. So it's been put in text. What I can do is use a multi-leader now. And if you have a look under your options, I can come through and basically, excuse me, what am I trying to do there? I can come through leader type. I want, yeah, you want your straight, maximum points, first angle, second angle. So if you have a look at that, sorry, let me go back in, just mark that one up. Arrowhead first. So people are used to using it and doing that sort of thing. But what I want to do is go into the MLEADER, and what I'm able to do there is instead of specifying a, so we had a massive crash on this machine and we've just reloaded it all, and it looks like I've got something not working quite right. I am very sorry. Oh, well, did I do it in the wrong version? I'm in 2022. Oh, let's close 2022 before I do that mistake again. Okay. I've closed 2023. Oh, I'm having a good day today. No. Right, let's try this again. I'm going to get to my desktop and start 2023. Okay. Right. Polyline there. Let's come to my annotation again. I just like to use annotative. I don't know if you guys are using this or not. It just makes it easier when you're working with this sort of stuff. Okay, so I've got all right. Now, if we come to the 2023 one, I can pre-enter text. So if I do that, I can actually come through and type in text first. What I want to do, sorry about the noise. I can do content first. I can pick, geez. Sorry, select M text. I don't know what is going on. I'm getting a bit rattled there. And you can put the leaders on. Okay. So if you've got text on your drawing, I've seen people do things like this where they come along and, yeah. So look, I'm going to go with my text and I'm just going to add an MLEADER to it. And they escape out of it. You go, but that's got nothing to do with that. So what they've done in 2023 is content first. Where we go, I want to do my it works and then it doesn't. Sorry. I'm coming back to this one. I don't know if it's something to do. We just rebuilt this machine this morning. I've got to apologize. Things have just gone a bit haywire there. I will pick that up and sort that one out. Very, very sorry. So that was, yeah, all it is adding the MLEADER on, but I'm not getting it working constantly. Now let me just check I haven't missed anything there. No. So CUTBASE, nothing really massive there. We've just got, instead of copy with a base point, we've got cut with a base point. So basically you can cut it out of a drawing, paste it into another one. Okay, whereas the one we're used to is our normal copy and paste. Markup and imports. This is getting quite interesting. I don't know if anyone works like this, but you can see here I've got a handwritten markup that I've scanned and changed to a JPEG, and I can bring it into AutoCAD and take that into the drawing. Now, you might think of different ways of using this. Let's just come down. Let's use markup one. Okay, now what we can do with our markups is, if I come to my Collaborate tab, we've got Markup Import. So I've already got a JPEG on there, which it sorts out and basically fits to the drawing, which is a nice feature. And you can see, I'm going to accept that. I've got some text written on there. Okay, and I can come through and say, look, if I pick on the text, so there's definite delays on my machine. Ugh. Goodness me. The mouse is about 10 minutes behind me. Right, I can pick that, and you can see that's pretty rough looking text, but it's worked out that social area. I can insert it as an MLEADER and put it on there. So if people are putting notes in, I can come through and start putting these on. Of course, if you're using annotative, so I was going to put an MLEADER, I can put scales on, it'll scale it all up. So again, back to your Collaborate, I can pick on this one, Quiet Office, yep, I want to do that, and I want to place that in there. So instead of having, if anyone still uses the old markups, you can scan these in, and the text recognition, I think, is excellent. That is pretty rugged, and it worked out that it said Quiet Office. Okay, so if it doesn't, you can change it to whatever you need it to be. But there's some nice features in there, I think, with the trace, the markups. We're starting to see things with really working with people outside of the drafting area that could be doing markup drawings for you, and how we can interface with them and really start to get this thing working well. Now, I don't know if any of you use AutoDesk docs, but now they've just basically added in the sheet set manager. So you've got that inside your Autodesk docs, okay? So anyone that is using docs, you can now start using the sheet set manager inside the doc environment. If we have a look and start talking about the 2D graphics display for both AutoCAD and AutoCAD LT, they've basically improved zoom and pan performance for drawings, and the treatment of things like true type text, long polylines, solid hatches, and all of that are now working better in the 2D wireframe visual style. The GPU memory usage has been optimized when opening drawings in the DirectX 12 mode, and there's no DirectX 9 mode anymore. That's been removed. This is for the people that are sort of technical. For those that aren't so technical, you should find that you're getting a better display effect with some of the higher end GPUs now. So we're starting to graphic interfaces start to look a lot better. 3D, if you start going into, no. So I've just thought I've lost all of my drawings from the rebuild this morning, so I don't have 3D stuff on there. So what I'm going to have to do is just come in and we'll just go and create a 3D drawing just to show what is going on. Excuse me. So now what you've got is, with a lot of these conceptual, we've got a fast mode that's available. So with the fast mode, if you start looking at it does work with the shaded and shaded with edges style. So shaded with edges, there is a fast mode. Okay. Now, that fast mode is governed by a fast shade mode, which you can switch on or off. So currently it's on, so this makes these available. If I switch them off, then it's just shaded with edges. But there are these fast modes there. Now, it's improved the performance, but there are some limitations. So it doesn't support point clouds, materials, geolocation maps, large coordinates, and customization of visual styles. So yes, these are good, most probably for basic 3D drawings, but if you start on point clouds and things like that, you'll have to come out of the fast mode. Hopefully this is something in the next release or future releases of AutoCAD. Those limitations will disappear and we'll start seeing enhancements in that area. So just be aware, for your 3D users, you've got two improved areas that you can work in now. Okay, inserting blocks. There's an interesting thing there. If I was to come along, let's just do circle, circle, let's make a block. I'll call it B1. The reason I'm using B1 is hopefully it's still there. I've already got a B1 in there. So if I insert recent commands, was it in other drawings, I've been using the same name, but it's a different block. So if I was to come through and now double click on this, you used to get redefine or don't redefine, but now you've got this rename incoming block. So I can say, look, rename it, and it brings it in. So I've now got two, but that one's got, if we go, just do a properties on it. We come down to the name of it. We find that, oops, there we go, it's B11, whereas that one is B1. So it renamed it. What we've only had in the past was if I was to come through and sort of grab hold of these and I did redefine, then of course the circle block changed. But now we've got the capability of bringing same name blocks in and it renames it on the fly. That's one of those small useful ones. If you're in options and you do any changes anywhere here, I'll just go and add another one, another path on the bottom here, that'll do. And you sort of go, oh, look, I want to cancel out of this. It goes, well, just a minute, before you go out, do you want to save the changes or do you want to discard? Before, when we cancelled, we lost the information. So we've just got this safety barrier checking us before we go out, whether we wanted to save it or not. Excuse me. Let's come back. Let's just go to, oh no, I'll just use that one. Okay, in isolation mode now. So what we should do is we've got, yep, saving changes to that. Isolation mode. Now we've got all this isolate capabilities, and you've got your, you can isolate, do all that sort of stuff and unisolate. But what it's doing now is the object selection is maintained. Okay, so I'm talking about that. So let's go in. If I was to go and grab a whole bunch of stuff here and say, yeah, what I want to do is come through and isolate those objects. it will actually allow me to, grab hold of components in there and come through and end object isolation. And those ones are still gripped. Whereas again, it's a small enhancement to isolation. So people sort of said, every time I do isolate and I grip things, if I come out, it loses it. Well, it maintains it now. So just a very small enhancement, but could be useful. On your new now, whatever you used as your last template will be the default, and it shows just in that little screen there. So if I came through and said, AutoCAD ISO, next time I come through the start and come down to new, it's displaying that it's going to use the AutoCAD ISO again. So that was a small enhancement on the new drawing. Okay. I don't have an example of this. My AutoCAD had a massive crash this morning, didn't generate an error report, we had to rebuild it. But if an error report is generated, now it's just automatically filling out your email address. So very small thing there. I think a lot of people tend to cancel out of there without sending it. You should send your error reports to AutoDesk. It helps them see if there's problems that, like, if lots of people get the same error, there's obviously a bug in the software and they're going to fix it. So don't hesitate in sending error reports. For AutoCAD LT users, you've now got the capability of using the arc text command. Okay, so you can put text around arcs, which we've had in AutoCAD for quite a long time, and it was in the there's additional tools that we could download. Now, I just found this just the other day. There are enhancements. There's a 2023.1. So, yeah, we've got things there. By looking at that, sheet set manager improvements, that's for the web version. They've got an Autodesk Assistant, English help only. That's for the US customers. But they've got this thing called Performance Analyzer. Okay, so that will, we've actually got this Performance Analyzer now. He says manage. Oh, of course. Now I've got to do, I've got to apologize. We only got this machine back together just before the webinar. I haven't reloaded 2023. But what it is you can start this Performance Analyzer and it will go through and it will basically start looking at how your machine's working and all that, and it will analyze the performance and suggest improvements. If you want more information, always look under your help. There's all the new features are listed. You've got new feature videos. So if you load up the software, you can go and have a look at what's new there. If you haven't loaded the software, you can always go and have a look at the knowledge networks. So you've got it for AutoCAD and for AutoCAD LT, and it will take you through all of the new tools. Autodesk have got their AutoCAD blog, and they've got all their new enhancements. They've got videos of different capabilities of 2023. So straight away I can see that I've got the floating windows, the trace count, 3D graphics enhancements, I'm showing that one. They've got the macro advisor in that video. So if you go to these different web pages, you can find a lot of different stuff. YouTube with the Autodesk channel, they've got stuff on the macro advisor again and the markup import and assist capabilities. Now, let me, before we get to questions and answers, I need to sort out, and if this doesn't work, it will work on yours. This was working on mine before the crash this morning, and I can't see pre-enter text, either verse content first. It's not really content first. So I seem to have lost options. Yeah, there's something gone wrong with my MLEADER. Now, what it does, it actually comes up, and one of the options there is allowing you, oh, now it's come up, there it is, select MTEX. So it keeps appearing and disappearing on mine at the moment, so I've still got problems. So I can pick that and then take the arrow to, yeah, wherever I want. That's what I was trying to show you, but I've definitely got something not 100% on my machine, so I've still got more work to do on it. So there's a fair few small capabilities in there. I think the markup and traces is going to be good if you're wanting to do markups in the drawing environment or import markups into the drawing environment. I suppose I'll leave it to you. Has anyone got any questions at all with what's going on with 2023? Okay, doesn't seem to be anyone asking questions. I must apologize, was it we were panicking like mad. There was a few of us working on this machine trying to rebuild it this morning, but I think I've still got some work to do on it. But overall, 2023 is most probably, performance-wise, it's performing very well. It's quite a good speed. They've got their hot fixes, if you wish, and all that sort of stuff out. So, you know, always keep an eye on, he says, your desktop app. So, you know, you can come to your AutoCAD, you can come to your upgrades, check what updates need to be put on, load up your updates. I've got to obviously redo mine for my 2023.1 to get that back on track. But I think you'll be pleased with it as a product. It's still doing the same DWG file format. Can the markup import or bring in Bluebeam markups? Well, it can bring in PDFs. So if it's saved within the PDF, then it will be able to. But if the Bluebeam markup is separate to the PDF, then no. Now, will the leader move if you move the text? I'm assuming you're talking about this one here. So basically that is now, you know, a multi-leader. So it's all that got converted from MTEX to a multi-leader. So, you know, that is all working as the one object now. Okay. Thanks for that one, Werner. Any other questions at all? So you can write them up into the chat. I will. You've got a question there? So just go into the Zoom Q&A session and you can write questions in there. Do you know if LT has the EA text command? I've actually taken LT off my machine. That is one of the things that caused problems. I had AutoCAD and LT and about plant, electrical, mechanical, and something conflicted on my machine this morning. So I can't start up LT to check if it's there. I'm sorry. If it wasn't in 2022, then I very much doubt it's in 2023 because it hasn't been announced at all. Oh, the P-line grip feature. Yeah, it's one of those you might not realize. All it is if you come down to the grips now, I'll draw again. If I start there and do my grip, I can stretch from the front, I can add, remove, and extend the vertex. I can do the same there. Whereas if I go to, and I will, push my luck again, let's just go to 2022 just to show, because a lot of people sort of go, I can't see that it is any different. Okay, polyline. So I'm starting there. Now if I go and grip that, the start one there, you can stretch, add, remove, stretch, add, remove. When you come to the one here, You've got stretch, add, remove, but you can extend the vertex. Okay, so that is a new capability on the beginning and on the end. Okay, so if you were to come through and say extend, you can pull the vertex down. And same on there. Okay, so that's now your start. Because the basic add one will always do it in the middle. Okay, so that's sort of adding at the end in a way. Hopefully that cleared that one up. Okay, thanks, Matthew. Any other questions? Now's the time to ask them. All right, that seems to be the questions everyone's got out the way. All right, I will thank you for coming and putting up with a few mishaps there. I'm going to have to go back and start looking at further rebuilding of my machine. But look, you can see it's a nice, I've got one more question coming through. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. Yeah. I'm going to say the EAT text, so the enhanced attribute editing text, was not listed as a new feature. So I would have been surprised if it was there. So yeah, look, if you've got 2023, go into Knowledge Network, go to YouTube, go and get some more information on these things. Then there's some nice little commands that might speed up things or maybe enhance your whole environment. As I said, I really like the trace and the markup capabilities. They're quite interesting. So hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching. But if you need any more information, just email the guys on info@a2ktechnologies.com.au. And I'd just like to thank you very much for your time and patience, basically. Thank you. Bye.